can't hear the theme music.
We're real estate geeks, man, getting leads online. Look at us.
That's learning all the time.
We're learning all the time. What do you think, Steph?
I couldn't hear it. It wasn't coming through.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Can you hear it now?
I'm so disappointed.
Oh, man.
What's our theme song?
It's definitely louder now.
Yeah, I feel left out. Y'all are dancing.
All right. Enough of that. Enough of that.
I got to do the playback so I can hear it. Yeah, it wasn't coming through for me. I'm so disappointed.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. So, Steph, today we're going to be talking about thumbnails, and you're one of our prize pupils when it comes to thumbnails. And I'm so glad that you had a few minutes to talk about it. And
Thank you.
instead of us like rambling about thumbnails, I want to know from you what it is that you learned, which was like super eye-opening when it came to thumbnails from us, Joe, and just doing this course and going through the whole spiel. What did you learn?
The biggest takeaway for me was inspiration thumbnails. Like I never even thought to go and find kind of what somebody else did in order to inform mine. So it's using what works rather than trying to just create something out of the top of my head that might do well, might not do well. So that was the big thing.
I have to give you like a little bit of like this kudos, right? Because it wasn't that you just took one thumbnail and said, oh, I'm just going to rip this off and copy it, right? You saw patterns in everybody's top performing videos and in those thumbnails, and then you added it to one specific thumbnail. Instead of ripping off somebody completely, you took elements from all the successful thumbnails and threw it into yours. And then you had a winning combination. I'm like, when you did that, I was like, you get it. You totally get it. Because we all start off, trying to do our best with the thumbnails. And we see what's working for other people. Everybody's like, oh, rip off and duplicate. Yeah, that's great. Rip off and duplicate. And that was going to get you so far. But then you don't have any identity for yourself. So when you start actually implementing your own style and elements from the most successful thumbnails on YouTube for your specific niche and avatar, then boom, you have a magic combination. And you picked up on that very quickly. That blew my mind. I was like, wow, he really gets it. So I would love if you're able to share a thumbnail that you had, wouldn't have done it any other way now that you know the good system. So I know that you have put it in our group, and our own little Discord group that we have for the Real Estate Video Geeks, but people in the audience may have not seen it before. So I'd love for you to share that. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, what do you want me to like share my screen?
Yeah, so there's a little button at the bottom that says, does it say present?
Yeah,
present.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on. Let me get my page pulled up here. And thank you. So to speak to what you just said too, learning, I think it's good to start in a place of like just completely taking people's stuff so that you can start to recognize those patterns. But I tried for like a year to not get in the course and figure it all out on my own. So I did a lot of studying prior to. So, and then I watched a lot of Daryl.
Like I know that guy.
Yeah, I watched a lot of him in conjunction with the course. And so it was that pattern recognition and being able to like throw different things in to make your own original thing. That was what the thing was for me. Like that was the aha moment, I think.
Yes.
All right, hold on. I got the page pulled up here. Let me see if it can let me share. I'm on an HP computer, and so I keep clicking it wrong. There we go.
If worse comes to worse, we'll just pull up your channel.
Yeah, it's all good. I think I got it.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, you guys see it?
There it is. Okay, can we see your older thumbnails first, though?
Yes, it gets bad as we go down there, man.
We like that though because it shows progression, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like just click on the tab that says oldest, so we can look at your oldest ones, and then we'll look at your more recent ones. All right. Okay, so you were just kind of taking regular photos of yourself.
I didn't even have thumbnails.
Or it was like screenshots of like what the
Yeah.
video was.
That's exactly it. I didn't even have any. Then I started trying to like do them on my phone a little bit here and there.
Okay.
And I think here is like when I kind of really got serious about making videos consistently. And I did the Canva templates that everybody has.
Yep.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think for this one, I like paid a $5 guy because that one did good.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me a while to go from all of
That
this.
Pflugerville one with the scroll up,
Yeah.
just the scroll up just a bit with the arrows. We
Yeah.
literally,
That's like an every Fiverr thumbnail.
I literally
So bad.
just reviewed a channel that had those exact thumbnails, the exact ones.
I see it too. I see it too. I'm always like, oh, I know where you are in your journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Just go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. Oh,
Yeah,
there,
you're fine.
you're getting better there.
Yeah, it gets better. So some of these were ones that performed well, and once I started to realize my thumbnail sucked, I went back and had somebody else do them for me and update it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, yeah, I think it starts to get better. A lot of these I did myself. I don't do my own thumbnails anymore, though.
Oh, yeah. So you hired somebody, but because of the training that we taught you, you were able to hire somebody and teach them the right way to make thumbnails. And that's very important for
Yep.
everybody to understand. Because if you give a thumbnail designer, just say, here's the title of my video, make me a thumbnail, they have no direction. And
Yep.
so they're just using what they know in their brain to look nice, which
Yeah.
is the same thing you do. So it may look pretty, but no one's going to click on it because you haven't done the right research and trained that thumbnail designer correctly. Yep.
And I had to fight him. My thumbnail guy, I had
Yeah.
to fight him.
Yeah, because he's like, I know the creative stuff. I can
Yep.
do it. And you're like, no, like this is
Do
what I want. And they're like,
this.
no, I know how to design. And you're like, great. I'm not arguing with that. But this is what I've learned, and I want you to implement it.
Yep, that's 1,000%.
And you have to
it.
stick to your guns.
Yep. I liked him. I liked him so much. I didn't want to have to fire him because I
Yep.
went through so many thumbnail people to get to him.
Mhm.
But once I started like trying to give him the direction that I was getting, he was super resistant at first, and like he had a thing.
You
But
just
once
show
he
him your
did it,
views. You show him your views now. and
I
you're like,
did. Yeah, I did. And he's like, okay, bet, I get it. I'm down.
Bet I got it.
All right, perfect.
Somebody has a really good question. They said, how long ago did you take this course? But you did the full course. You didn't just do the thumbnail course. How long ago did you do the Real Estate Video Geeks course? When did you start?
So what is it? Only been like, it's not even been I guess I started maybe 3 months ago, maybe.
3 months ago. And you were also in the continuing education part of it. So the advanced coaching. So
Yeah.
you took the 8-week course and then you did the advanced coaching. If you're interested, if you're interested, we actually are doing our next group. It will start next Thursday.
Yep.
And you will have full access. And then we're actually giving out 4 weeks of advanced coaching to you to be a part of the course if you wanted to go ahead and sign up for that. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. The community's worth it. Watching other people be able to like succeed in the community helps keep you going. And then like there's a balance because you have to walk your own path. And like that's what I learned pretty quickly. Like watching Jackie do 1 million views is just crazy. And it was cool because I saw the same video that like inspired what she did.
yeah.
And I just wasn't there yet. I was trying to follow the course. I'm like, okay, I'm not making videos yet. And like to watch her crush it, dude, and that was like super inspiring. And then I think you get more detail as to what this looks like on the back end for people because I'm on
Yep.
YouTube to sell real estate.
Right.
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a real estate agent that does YouTube, and so like making sure that it makes money is like the most important. I know I've probably you guys have heard me harp on that since like day one.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it
awesome.
needs to pay me, and
Yep.
like and to see how it works out for other people helped me stay the course. And I actually some good advice for other people too is I started a fresh channel whenever I started to launch, and I realized one, my topics, I don't think I had as much of a passion for the topics that I was talking about. And two, the time that it was going to take for that channel to grow, I didn't have the patience or budget for it. Because somebody makes my thumbnails and like somebody edits my videos, and so these are customer acquisition tools. So I have to look at it like that. But once, it's so funny, that same video that has like, one, you can see where the thumbnails get better, and the views get better too. And the one that did 135, I released that exact same video on the other channel and it did like 3. And so I just like switched up the title a little bit and reshot the intro to make it relevant. And then it went gangbusters.
Yeah.
Well, good on you.
That's awesome.
Good on you. So let's see your newest one that got you 135,000 views to your channel.
So this one right here, and so I got 2 of them that went, and they're very similar. So if anybody wants to pick up on that pattern, you can. So there's this one right here, that the Never Buy Texas New Builds, and then this one, the Texas housing market crash. So that one did 175K, and it brought the other one up to 135K.
Yep.
So did these Never Buy, that's very similar to something I had done years ago, and then everybody else started picking up on it. Is that why you chose that like lettering and the I'd say the outlining and stuff? Is that why you did those?
That's directly, it might be from it's directly from Jackie's. So
yeah, Jackie got it from me, right?
Yep. And I did 3 versions, and that is the one that won. So that's the one that won, is with that particular text. And then everything else about it, I actually found a guy who does, it's kind of a vlog, and he talked about his DR Horton house being trash. He was like, my horrible DR Horton house went viral, and it's him sitting in front of it, kind of looking back at the house, and he had like 3 million views on it. Nothing else on his page had that many views. And so I was like, okay, well, let's blend those 2 of him kind of sitting in front of the house, but use the words that I know work. And like trapped on the other one on the bottom left, like that's another one that I got from Jackie, her page. She's got one about, I can't remember, I think it's regrets or something like that. And I was like, just that phrase, I knew that was going to work really well. And so it was that same thing. You blend the elements, blend the things that work.
Yeah. Hey, Steph, there's another question. It says, did the increase in views directly translate to more leads?
Yes, absolutely.
Like how many more leads would you say compared to what you were doing, like in a percentage, what would you say?
Man, very easily, I want to just say 100% increase. Like very easily.
Night and day, basically.
But here's the other thing that I do too that kind of helps that. So before my relaunch, I relied 100% on you book on my Calendly, or you call or text or email. I instituted a couple things that you guys said do. One was the website, so the single landing page website. And you guys didn't speak on this, but I think Jen Sylvester does this too. But the little freebies here, take this guide and give your email or something like that. So those 2 things in conjunction increased it like crazy. So I get a few leads a day that are just like, some just email, some email and phone number, and I take that as like they're shy. They want me to reach out first. That's fine. I got you. And then the other ones are people reaching out directly, and they will tell you what video they came from. So that's why I know, like the new construction one, that one gave me way more leads than the housing crash one. One, because I'm pretty much being a crappy realtor, and the housing crash one, because like I bought an overpriced house. But 2, like the topic of the new construction like struck a nerve, and I'm showing expertise in that video. And so they reach out and they say, hey, I saw you on this video. This is why I reached out. I want to build a house, and I think I have one now. He's going to build a custom, and I've got 3 others that I'm just kind of working back and forth with. And the cool thing is, like, I made it statewide. So I have people in Houston, like some people in Houston just reached out today to try and build. So like it reaches statewide, and then I could send that as a referral, and then I get the people that are a little closer to me as far as like trying to work those. But yeah, it straight up 100% increase. I might have saw one every 3 weeks prior to, but now we do like 2 to 3 a week.
That's awesome. That's so good.
That is good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was going to show a thumbnail that came up from I would think it's this person who it's not the same screen name as the person that's in the real estate group. So I put a post out on the YouTube Real Estate Mastermind group on Facebook, and I just asked people to share their thumbnails and see how we can improve it. So there was a person that was willing to share, and this was her thumbnail. I don't know where her inspiration is, but I'm assuming that, if you look at a lot of real estate thumbnails, you'll see this very common, where it gives you the price of the line, and they'll show themselves and the arrows and everything. So I wasn't able to fix everything that I would have done. So I'm just going to tell you what I would have done, and you tell me if you concur. Steph. All right. So this is obviously for a probably a new construction, and the house is around $450,000. It's probably in one specific neighborhood, and that's all I can get from it. Right. So instead of doing that, what I've learned with any type of thumbnail when it comes to houses, all they want to see is the house and the cost. All the other stuff is unimportant. Like, I don't see arrows when it comes to going through housing. I don't see the names. I don't see square footage. I don't see any of that. And I'm sure what she's doing is she's comparing like one neighborhood where you get a small house for $450,000. And then she's saying the other one is, 3,000 square feet for $450,000. That's what I'm assuming. But we have to simplify it because people want to see things clearer and easier and with the eye. So this is what I could do with what I had. So I just made it very simple and easy. But if it was me personally, I would not even have your personal image on there.
Mm-hmm. That's thematic. Like, as far as what's working right now, you're exactly right. And I looked on your page just recently too for some inspiration on that. But if you're talking about a house, they want to see the houses. So this I'm with you. I would probably take her out and just do a split screen of one house and the other, and then like whatever the price difference is.
Yep. So she had another one too. I wasn't able to edit it, but it will give you an idea of, we can talk about it a little bit. So it's got her off to the side. I'm assuming that it's a walkthrough of this particular floor plan. And then the words must see. So I'm assuming this is the neighborhood.
She has such a pleasant face.
Oh, I know. She looks very nice. And I love the fact that she uses nice solid colors of a shirt in her thumbnails. Bravo for that. Because nothing makes me madder. Nothing makes me madder when people put on big logos on their t-shirt and they're advertising for Bud Light on their t-shirt while they're doing their thumbnail. Like, makes no sense. So, I mean, good honor on that. This is how I improve it. There is a very distracting image, and I just now figured it out after looking at this for 10 minutes that this is actually a swimming pool.
Yeah.
In the background.
Yep.
I had no idea. So it almost looks like a vacant space. I thought it was a spaceship or some kind of background. I didn't
like
know.
A baseball diamond.
Yeah. So if it's confusing me and it took me that long, no one's going to sit there and stare at it for that long to figure out what it is, the messaging in this specific neighborhood. So if the hook for this specific neighborhood is the community swimming pool, take a picture of the swimming pool and kids swimming in it and put Ridge View. That's it. Take all that other stuff out. You don't need to have words on this. But if the main intrigue is the actual houses themselves, just put the house and the price. That's it.
Yep.
What do you
I think tell one story with the thumb, and all those extras can be like re-engagements inside the video, or like you can open different curiosity loops inside the content. But yeah, I would just tell one story. So it is like, is the story Ridgeview and the house, or is the story that you just must see the house? But yeah, definitely not the pool. Like I would, that caught my eye too. So I would take the pool out. I would probably try and take Ridgeview out and do like must see, or just swap it. If people in your neighborhood know, in your area know Ridgeview is super popular, then I would just swap it and like not even have any words.
The other thing that you could do with this is if you made the house bigger and you removed the agent, and instead of a must see, you could put pool and then an arrow pointing to the back of the house, so that you don't see the pool, but it
You know it's there.
but it's like, oh wait, what's the pool look like? Because now you're creating curiosity.
So you could like put it over here and like kind of point.
So I would have like the house taking kind of like a home tour, right? Where you have like the house, but then a little red arrow that's kind of pointing behind the house. Get rid of Ridgeview. And then where it says must see, it just says pool and then an arrow. And you see what I'm saying? So then it's like, you don't see the pool on the thumbnail. So then you're kind of like, well, what's the pool look like?
I've seen thumbs like that do something.
They'll do like a kitchen, or they'll do something, and you're like, wait, what? Like, it creates that curiosity, but it's very simple.
So we can do it like this, and then you can put like, oops, make it a little bit bigger. And then this would be grass and sky, and then you would say pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even behind it a little bit. Yep.
Yep. So just a little idea for you. I hope that helps. I think
the key is with these is you want them to grab attention, but you want them simple. And it seems that thumbnails are getting simpler and simpler, but they take longer and longer to make, because you're trying to figure out, how do I make it so simple? And in 2 seconds, someone knows what the video is about, but I don't have it like chock full of words or all of these things. How to do that?
And that's
to piggyback really off of that.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask y'all's thoughts on I guess it's not new, but kind of the more recent trend of no thumbnail. Like, people are just, some of the biggest creators, they get hundreds and thousands of views, and it's just a screen grab from the video.
Well, like Clear Tax, I think is the name.
Like that guy. He's just
right. So from the beginning, he established that as his thumbnail design consistently.
That's part of his channel. That's who he is.
Right. The whole package, the whole branding is him in a tie, shirt, stripped back, giving you data. Just like there's no editing in that. There's nothing. So you're just getting giving it to you straight. That's all there is. So his thumbnails, if you saw these overdone thumbnails and then you watched a video like that, you're like, the branding wouldn't match the style.
So he's stuck doing those types of thumbnails unless he really tries to like pivot his channel. But because of that, that's what his style, and that's what he's known for.
Right. So you have to be in line with the content you create. Because I've seen it too, where it's a super great thumbnail, and then you click on it and it's like, like, what was that? Like you immediately turn it off. So you be in line with what the video is about, right? Make it make sense. The thumbnail needs to tell the story of the video simply, easily, within a split second. But not give too much away. That was another one. Somebody said, my favorite, I saw this recently. My favorite headphones for video editing. And he's wearing the name of the brand of the headphones in the thumbnail. And I went,
he's got the name.
Like, why even? No one's going to watch that. We already know what your favorite one is.
Yeah, you just gave it all away.
So you got to, like, it's this thumbnail thing.
When should they use an image?
Go ahead.
When should they use an image of themselves versus just like not have themselves in it?
So that's a great question.
That is a great question. So, in that, I'm going to say this: it depends, right? It's a part of what's your niche, who are you making content for? Those two things are very important. But if I was to make a blanket statement about real estate as a whole, is that if you're talking about a specific house, if you're talking about luxury homes, if you're talking about manufactured homes, if you're talking about modular homes, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see this. They want to see the house. They don't give two flying flips about your face. Show me the house. And in the first few seconds of that video, you better be showing the house. You better be showing the house because that's what they came for. They saw that thumbnail and they want to see that house. So those types of videos don't show your face. But if you are giving information about the housing market, if it's about market trends, that kind of thing, they want to know who they're talking to. Who is it that's going to be giving me this information? Show your face. And I'm generalizing generalizing. It's going to be very specific for your niche. Because even my like old live streams, I used to not put my face on the thumbnail, and that worked for a while, but then it didn't work anymore. So then I started testing it with my face on the live stream thumbnails, and then it worked. So every once in a while.
Do you have resistance with pulling your face off? Are you like, no, I'm keeping my face because I'm the brand? Or are you like, I don't care, whatever works?
I don't care. I don't.
It really comes down to like what your goal is. And if your goal is to get more views, then you're going to follow like what the audience wants. And the thing is that you may hate your thumbnail, but your audience it attracts your audience. And I think that's the biggest thing is everyone thinks a thumbnail is an afterthought. I'm going to make a thumbnail because I spent all this time on this video. I forgot I got to put a thumbnail up. The key is to have your thumbnail in place with your title before you even press record on your camera.
Yes.
Yeah, I still struggle with that.
I don't know how many times I get I don't know what kind of thumbnail I should make for this video. And then they tell me what it's all about. And I'm like, I don't know either. I don't know either. I can't help you with that. I mean, there's always some elements that everybody needs to understand when it comes to thumbnails. Make sure the whites of your eyes are white, like they blur them out even more, make sure you don't have zits on your face. You can, fix that blemishing. Don't wear logos. You can always put, cover up the logos that are on your shirt. Joe Eves is super guilty of this.
I always send my images to Christina with logos on it because I know she's going to cover them up.
I got to cover them up. Why advertise for somebody else? If it's your own company logo, then wear that crap. But if it's for, StreamYard or something, you don't need to wear that. So that kind of stuff. What else is, the clarity of your pictures, like your personal photographs. That's a big one. That's a really big one. And you don't have to have a professional photographer take your pictures, with their camera in order to have good photos for a thumbnail, right? That's a big one. And then the expression on your face needs to match what you're talking about. That's another one. Yeah. That one always cracks me up. Like when I see somebody like the housing market is crashing, right? And the real estate agents on the thumbnail going like this with their arms crossed. I'm like, it's crashing and you look really happy in that thumbnail,
Yeah, I got a tip for getting clear pictures. So I have Sony ZV-1, something like that. And so that's my like studio cam. It's my fancy schmancy. It's very simple though. But I will just set it on like my regular video recording mode, and then I will just record myself doing whatever face reaction it is, and then screen grab it. Because I tend to get like a way higher resolution picture with better lighting just by doing that. And like I can do 20 faces in a 1 minute sit-in and then just go grab them all out. And they always come out really good.
Another thing that I do is that I literally have my kid who's she's 18 now, but I've been having her do this since she was like 10. You know? She just grabs my cell phone and I sit in front of all my lighting that's in here in my office. She stands right there, and then we just go through a plethora of different faces, and then I have a whole folder on my phone full of it, and it's always the right lighting. And then I always enhance the clarity and the sharpness of that picture so that way it looks pops off my thumbnails because people all the time are like, who does your photographs? I'm like, it's just my cell phone. No joke, these phones are perfect now. You can do them, just don't do like this, don't do a selfie
Yeah.
image. Yeah.
I had
And
the same
that's another.
question when I saw yours. I was the same way. I was like, who's doing your photos? Are you taking professional photos for it? Because they always look so good. But you give away how to do that
Right, I
in
do.
the course.
Yeah, I do that. There is a little method in there.
Yeah.
So we have another thumbnail that I want to put up on the screen, Joe, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. So very similar to what you did with your thumbnail with the home, right? But you were sitting down on the ground. And the other thing is
Yep.
that this white stroke is not a thing anymore. This around the image, this was a really big deal, I think, 2017, 18,
Yep.
19, and then 19, it phased out. Nobody puts the white stroke behind them anymore.
Vloggers do.
Right. But we're real estate agents.
Yeah. In the vlog, in the girl vlog. So I use my wife's algorithm in order to get a different view of YouTube. And on the girl vlog world, there's tons of women who do that exact thing with the outline. I thought it was dead, but I'm telling it's still there.
Well, I'm saying that it's dead in the real estate niche.
The thing
I
is
agree.
that
In the real estate
everything
niche, yes, I do agree.
everything evolves, and it may still be in certain niches. But what's interesting is every agent did it, and now it's been moved out. But there's niches that still do all like fire and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of things, but I think the key is understanding where you're getting your inspiration from. And when real estate is not, that's not hitting anymore. It's like, oh, that doesn't work for this niche. Let's not push it. But
Yep.
I agree, like 100%, Steph. Like there are places that people will still do certain things, but it works and speaks to their audience, and so they still do it. So it doesn't mean that that's right or wrong. It's again following the audience, following the algorithm. But in real estate, it's not going to produce like it did.
Mm-hmm.
True indeed. I like what you're doing there, Christina.
Yeah. So, this is PicMonkey. Sometimes it does this thing when you're removing the background, it takes out too much. But if you guys have PicMonkey and you see this, don't fret. You can go to the erase and then hit the paintbrush and then just put it right back. Well, there you go. Nothing's lost,
Yep. I've got one of these too for hers if you want to see it.
Sure. I was just showing. Go ahead. I'll just.
So again, it depends on what you're trying to convey. Is new construction great right now? Is it not great? And so you have to look at the thing I love is your facial expressions are always so good. They're just like, you look really stressed, bro. Like when you do it, you're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that looks so good, and it definitely catches an eye. So one thing that we've noticed is that if you're all happy and everything's good, you're not going to get the reaction as if you have a little bit more of a distressed look, right? And so let me share my screen here just for a second. Find the right one. Can you guys see that?
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Okay, so same thing, right? Like she's happy, got the stroke, new homes. And so I didn't have a face for her, so I just basically had an AI make one, but this is kind of the difference, right? So just adding a couple little marks.
That
big
is
mistake.
That's really
And
good.
do you know what that added? Like, that's what everybody needs to understand. It added huge curiosity. And that's where most people are missing. What makes the curiosity? And like these big mistakes and the red marks, and that's so smart because it's showing you like all these mistakes on that house, showing you you're curious enough to like zoom in and look more like what is that.
Yeah, and then the other key, if you are going to use your face, you want to see the white of the eyes, right? We talk about that. We teach that. Like that's more going to be more engaging. And the other thing too is it may not be a happy thing that people are thinking right now, especially if they pay for like new construction or whatever. So you really want to be careful of like what you want your audience to feel. But that's the goal with this, right? Is our goal is to stop scrolling and get them curious. What's the big mistake? And then the thing that we love is after a really good thumbnail is the title, which then helps enhance that thumbnail, and then that's what gets that click, right? That's the goal with these, is to have a good thumbnail and then a killer title that then they're just like, I've got to watch this video. I have to see why that's a big mistake, and why do they have red on those corners?
Yeah, that's really eye catching.
And so so there's lots of little things that you can do to enhance. And it's not that the thumbnail is a bad thumbnail. It's just it doesn't really convey much, right? And we want to tell a story quickly. Yeah, it's new homes. Well, there's lots of new homes. The goal is what's the engaging part? So anyway.
So I had to work with what I had, right? So I I did, this was just very quick. So I want to share what I was going to do. All right. So like if all I had was this is all I could do, this is what I would have done. I would have made her bigger, right? 10 times bigger. She was too small. I want to see more of her face. Actually, I'd probably make this even bigger, And then the curiosity is like buy it. So I'm assuming that like it's about buying new construction, right?
Yep.
And so the curiosity is, why should I buy it? Why should I buy that house? That's the only way I could have created curiosity with the imagery that I had, especially with their facial expression.
Exactly.
And I'm still in that.
Okay.
But the thing is with that, even with that, there's that curiosity, right? The new construction is like, it's new construction, but it's like, well, why should I buy it? Like like they're being built. Why? And then you have your title that you can then enhance that thumbnail, right? And that's the thing that I think we're talking about with this, is that there really is a lot to think about when doing thumbnails to tell the story, but you don't have to say so much. And I think that's the biggest thing, is when you start editing thumbnails in the beginning, you feel like you have to cram everything in there, and you have to like make sure that everybody feels like, oh, this is the story, I've got to tell it, but I'm going to tell it through words, because they don't know any other way to do it. And this is, again, it's very simple, and it creates that curiosity of why.
So this was the original. This is the original. Let me get it smaller, because this is what it originally looked like. And this is what we went with. That makes it a lot better.
Yep.
Even the size of her face.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just a couple little minor tweaks makes a whole different thumbnail.
Yep. Small tweaks, big peaks.
Yep.
So I wanted to show everybody. I mean, you can even like with the images that you have, you want to like just spruce up those older thumbnails and just add a little bit more curiosity. You're going to see that some of those older thumbnails will pick up. I tried this as an experiment like last year, where I took a really old old video that didn't really do really well. I was just bored. And I was like, well, I'll see if I can jazz this up. So I did. And I didn't change much. I made my image bigger. I upped the saturation on the coloring of the house, and then all of a sudden it just popped up again. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that's a good thing to bring up actually,
Mhm.
is the saturation. Just because you shoot something in one mode doesn't mean that you have to keep it that way. Like if you're talking doom and gloom, you don't want like a bright blue background and all happy and green grass. You're going to want stuff that's looking dreary and dark and disparaging. Like, so you really want to try to match up the thumbnail with the theme of what you're talking about, and saturation is huge.
You can go crazy with it like this.
but that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's oversaturated. When you're looking at it on the computer, on your TV, you want those to pop. So the normal saturation is going to look washed out a little bit.
Yes. And I sometimes I'll look at something and I'm like, oh God, that looks like an orange blob. But then when I see it on the television, I'm like, I guess I did that right, you know?
Yeah.
And that's another thing to point out, is that more and more people are watching these videos on their television. So we used to always optimize our thumbnails for our phones, right? And now people are scrolling through on their television. So you really need to make an emphasis of curiosity as they're scrolling on their television screen. If you make it too detailed and add too much imagery, they're just going to scroll right past.
Yep.
You have to make it simplified. That's why Netflix's thumbnails are so vague. It's usually a person and a background and then the name of the movie, and that's it.
Yep, they're driving that curiosity.
Yes.
Also, your render size. When you render the thumbnail, the size is going to matter now. When you start to think about TV, I went and looked at my new construction when it came up on my TV just by happenstance, and I was like, "Oh crap, that's blurry." On my 1080 TV, it's showing up blurry, and I went and it was sized for like 720, and so I had to go back in and size it up. So that's another good tip.
If you're using PicMonkey, just download it as a PNG, and that will up it the pixels for television. Just FYI, just for you to know. So I didn't know you were in the same market as Rebecca Valera.
Rebecca Valera, I'm not familiar. Which one is that? Is that the one, not our Rebecca that just had the baby?
She's had the baby, yeah.
She's in Dallas.
Oh, I thought she was in Killian.
No, she's closer to Dallas.
Oh, okay.
I'm over here with Angie. So Angie's in Austin. So I'm over here. I'm between Austin and Killeen. So I kind of go back and forth.
I love her. She's great. Have you guys done a collab yet?
No, we haven't. We have to now. We're gonna have to because we got the similar niche now.
You guys better get together. And you know what? That's what everybody needs to know. See, they're not competition. They're collaborators.
No. What I learned, so in Killeen where I started, I was literally the only person doing YouTube videos. That's why I chose Killeen. But what I learned is the person that's going to reach out to me, they are essentially vetting me through an hour or 2 hours of being on my channel. And they're either going to just take the information and go elsewhere with it, or they're going to vibe with me in particular and come to me. And if they were going to go to somebody else, that was going to happen regardless. Like that's kind of the great thing about it. The lead that you get from YouTube, they want you. I even have trouble trying to like pass them off to referral partners because like they want me. I'm the one that they trust because they've already done that kind of unilateral relationship with me. And it's just the difference in the way we deliver things, whether you're male or female, age, like all of that stuff comes into play when somebody's going to choose you. And so it's not just because you do the same thing. Like if they don't like you, they don't like you.
Yep.
Well, I like you. You're amazing.
Thanks. Love you guys too. Y'all have helped me tremendously. I made my money back already, so thank you. That's great.
Awesome.
I'm in the black, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Well, and
I know.
it's a skill now that you can move forward and you can just double down and continue to just grow. And the thing is and Christina and I talked about this when you first started submitting your thumbnails. I'm like, oh, he gets it. Like he's figuring out the patterns of two and making his own. And like you said, you started off with one, but then tweaking it to where it was your own thumbnail, and you just used the information that you were gathering that you knew the YouTube algorithm really liked, and you were able to do your own, and in very little time able to get massive amounts of views, which is amazing.
Still learning too, man, because they don't all hit like that. You think you're like, man,
Yeah.
this was gonna be a banger, and it is
Yeah.
like you're 5.8.
Yep.
You're only as good as your last video.
Yeah. That's a good point though, is that you have the right attitude, because it's like after you have something like that, you're like, all right, I know how this works. Like, this is good. And then you release your next one and you're like, wait, what happened? Like, it didn't do anything. And so going back and being a student of YouTube and learning and going, okay, what were the things that made this successful? What were the veins? What were the things that I could improve upon? And then you just move forward with your next video. So
Yeah, I always say nothing will humble you like YouTube. Nothing will humble an ego like YouTube.
Week by
Except for a
week.
teenage daughter. That will help.
Yeah, that helps too. Yep.
We got one more thumbnail that came in. This was kind of like a screenshot, so I didn't have a clearer vision on this one. Did you happen to get this one too, Joe?
I got it, but it was super tiny, so I didn't do anything with it.
Okay, let's just talk about the things that I see that are wrong. First of all, there is no pro on one side and there's no con on the other side.
Yeah.
The area, I can't read that yellow with the white stroke behind it. And I wouldn't have put her like off to the side with a thumbs up, thumbs down thing.
Yeah, if you were going to use yourself on that, you'd be in the center.
100% right in the middle.
And then on both sides, you're going to have the pro and the con.
Uh-huh.
And one, you're obviously going to have something tweaked so that it's very clear that one is pro and one is con.
Right. So I'm going to crop this out just to kind of get the idea. We're going to pretend she has shoulders on each side.
We know you'll be like, Christina says always have the shoulders and don't cut off.
So you have pro on one side and then con on the other side, like pro and then con.
And the other thing too is you may not even want the words. You may just want like a check mark, like green check mark and a red X.
Oh, even better. That's you're right. Imagery is going to read better than a word. You're right. Yep. You're right. A check mark. See, and this is when it's good to have someone that's really good at thumbnails doing it with you, right? That can review them with you. Because, like I wouldn't even have thought of that. Now I'm like, oh, I got it all together. No, I don't. No, I don't. Let's see if they have anything else in here. We can find an X online. If you go to
even if not, you could just do like text, and do X, like the letter X with red.
I could do that. Yep.
And then you could find the font that looks kind of like what you've got.
Yeah. There's so many fonts.
Informational and educational. So it's hard for me, I found it profoundly hard at first to convey a story without using a lot of words.
Yeah. That's the hard part, because naturally we want to explain it. And it's super hard to be like, yeah, that looks good. It's super hard to get your point across. But again, it's like, how can we at a glance, simple, look at that. Now you don't even need pro and con. And if you had something that's great on one side that you really liked, and then something that was not so great that you wanted to push, now you've got two different things, and the thumbnail says it all.
Yeah. And like your personal image, you could be much bigger than this.
Yep.
Um, I want your face to take up like 1/3 of
Yep.
the thumbnail. And so you could have your pro now and then your con on this side. So whatever
Yeah.
the pro is and then the con.
And the thing is this is much simpler now, but
Uh-huh.
it also conveys everything. Plus you couldn't read the text in yellow, so
Right.
then you're like, I don't even know what that is. So now you can do that, and in your title you can help, you know, if there's a pro and con, but have a statement of like what it is that you like. Don't ever buy these types of homes or whatever it is.
Right. And then the title already said pros and cons.
Yeah.
So you don't have to write that on
So
your
you don't
thumbnail.
need that on the thumbnail. That is one thing that also we could talk about is a lot of times people duplicate the same words that's in their title on the actual thumbnail.
Right.
And so it's better if you can have something different on the thumbnail, and then whatever your title is now you have, like we say, stay within 65 characters to really have a statement. But that looks so much better already.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And another thing is I'll see a lot of people will have words in the thumbnail that actually should be the title.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yep.
They use those power words that would have really helped with that title. Yep, you're right. I'm so proud of our student, Joe. I love our student. So we can put that.
Another tidbit I use, I don't know if y'all use it because we hadn't talked about it in the group.
Mm-hmm.
But I like View Stats Pro because like let's say you find an inspo thumb somewhere, then you can go and search for thumbnails by the image that's in them. So if you're using like a pro and con and you want to do like a green check mark, you can search green check mark and see the different ways that other people are using it and like pull from the one that has 20 million versus the one that might just have a couple 100,000.
That's a good point.
Good.
Yep. You're again following like letting the algorithm tell you, okay, what do people click on? What do people like? And you're not having to guess as much.
You're so smart.
So as YouTubers, how often are you searching for new inspiration for like a thumbnail?
Every day.
Every day. Like there are some things that I do on a regular basis, like I know how big my image needs to be if I'm going to put my image on there. But I'm always researching what's working on YouTube now because that changes, like the stroke behind yourself and the fire, that's always changing. And so if it's that pattern is dwindling off, I'm not going to use it because it's not getting the views like it used to.
Yep. Or even words, right? Like if you're doing home tours, like inside, or like all of the different things like that.
This was just an idea that I had real quick, because
do you have a set time that you research?
I just look at it every day.
Mine's usually in the morning before I get busy doing other things, because you know how it goes is doing real estate and people call and they need all these things. So I'm like, I got to do it before anybody is up and working.
I do it at night because I'm always up until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to find an image that looks
how my wife is
on the other side of this.
Like more of like, you got to do like the traffic that's like totally backed up.
Yeah, I know, but it's too close to these colors. So like, that's another thing that I want everybody to realize is that if you're doing two side-by-side images, they should be almost opposite, especially if it's a pro and a con. These colors are too similar.
Do like at nighttime, like traffic at night.
Or even if you needed to put like a dark filter over it or something and tint it. But yeah, the contrast is important. I see a lot of them where they do that. Like that's really good. I see a lot of them where they do that, but there won't be enough contrast between the two images and it's hard to tell them apart.
Yeah. And again, then it's like, well, what's the pro, what's the con, because they're too similar.
Right. Here's another one that kind of has like strokes in it, maybe.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oops. Went a little too far there, Christina. A little too far. But that, I mean, you get the idea.
So fast.
I've been doing this for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a hot minute. So those were all the ones that let me see. I'm gonna check the Facebook page just to see if anything else had come up.
And kudos to those folks. It takes a lot of bravery to have your thumbnail put up on a video kind of picked apart.
Yes.
I work by myself in a silo most times, so feedback was something I was not used to, and like I really had to like gain thick skin on that.
Yeah, because you work hard at it and you put your like energy into it, and then nobody likes to hear, why'd you do that? Like, what were you thinking there? And it's like, well, I thought it looked cool, you know? And you're like, how else are you supposed to come up with thumbnails? I don't know.
Yep. The focus group of one is what Gary Vee likes to say.
Yeah.
Everybody liked that post, but they were unwilling. Only the one person was willing to.
There were one person brave enough.
One person brave enough. And then we had a couple students that were.
Yeah. That's okay. You know what? That one person.
I'm sorry.
They're going to get some stuff out of it. So.
Go ahead. Well, I'm sorry. What was that now? I got lost.
I didn't say anything. We were just saying about the Facebook group.
Yeah, it's a great group. So we're going to be posting a little bit more in there as well, just to help people that haven't joined our course. I mean, and we've always done that anyway.
Yep.
You know, it's not to make anybody feel any way about anything. We just really genuinely want to help real estate agents be successful on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, it's YouTube Real Estate YouTube Mastermind. I did not name that group. That's why I can't get the name right. But you can watch all of our old live streams too. We're on YouTube as the Real Estate Video Geeks, and we're also on the Facebook. So you can watch us over there. But if you are interested in taking the course, we actually have it out right now till the end of today. If you want to take just the thumbnail course, you can just take that. You get $97 off. All you have to use is the word thumbs up, and you get $97 off. $97
Yep.
off of the thumbnail course.
I'll put that in the link there
And
on the old Facebooks
videos.
and YouTubes.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Steph, thanks again. Your last thoughts about this, like what's the biggest thing that you've noticed? We kind of talked a little bit about like understanding like where to get inspiration and that kind of stuff, but tell us just a little bit of your journey on this and where you want to be.
Well, that was kind of the thing I learned biggest was like clarity. So whenever I first came into the course, I didn't really have clarity on what I wanted the outcome to be. And so you really need that. So I kind of reverse engineered like what I would like to see. And for me, I wanted to go more the model of team lead. I like larger checks rather than smaller checks. So I wanted to keep it closer to where I actually am but still go wider. So I was super hyper local, and you guys were like, go, you do national, you're casting a wider net. And then I heard you say actually very one-off, you were like, well, at least do your state. And so I was like, boom, that is the good middle ground for me. And so I'm relocating to the state of Texas. Like that's like the whole theme of the channel. And it's so far so good, trying to have a balance of that referral business and those actual clients that we go out and work ourselves. And yeah, that's the goal for the next couple of years, and to just try and grow that as much as possible.
You said something super interesting, and I want to ask you about this. So do you feel like that you generating the views that you're getting and how you understand YouTube now compared to what you did before you did the course, do you think that will help you in recruiting your team members?
1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Because either they
even though you don't want to,
something
even though
similar.
it's like, hey, I don't need to be a YouTuber, you by just your efforts of what you're doing now, it's recruiting for you agents without you even having to recruit.
Mm-hmm.
1,000%. I got recruited. So somebody tried to recruit me based on one of those videos. Like, hey, you're in Texas. What are you doing? This is great. And I was like, no chance. No, thank you. But yeah, that's exactly
I'm on my own journey.
yeah, 1,000%. So yeah, it definitely helps because they see the proof. And even if they don't want to be a YouTuber or a social media person, they like to have somebody that's already doing it because they're like, great, I don't have to do it. And then on the other side, there's the person that wants that. And so you can now teach them based off of your success and have the right mindset around it and not kind of be like, oh, they're competition now. And no, they're like, nope, I can teach you everything I know, and you can go out and you'll do well, and I'll do well too.
That's awesome. So it's basically another tool that you can use to grow your real estate business.
Yep.
That is the only reason I'm on YouTube.
Yep, that's awesome.
Thank
you,
good. Steph. You're amazing. That was
y'all
awesome.
Are so welcome. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much for your time.
We're gonna do a theme song. Maybe you'll hear it this time.
Yeah, hear it this time.
Yeah, let's see. Let's crank it.
I'm gonna crank it. I had to turn it on first. Hold on.
Tips and tricks and tactics. Notes on notepads filled. In the zone, ecstatic. Our dream house is built.